This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hello, and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each week, we take a look at food and drink trends in North Texas, talk about restaurants in Dallas-Fort Worth, learn some new recipes, and sometimes even get tips from you, our listeners. I'm Anna Butler, the food editor at the Dallas Morning News. It's a new year, and we're getting into what's in and what's out when it comes to North Texas dining. And later, we're talking about the most exciting restaurant openings to expect in 2026. That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news in Dallas-Fort Worth, visit dallasnews.com/food. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I'm joined by Sarah Blaskovich, Claire Baller, and Imelda Garcia. This is our first episode of 2026, and we're excited to be back.
I don't know if it's too late, but Happy New Year.
It's not too late.
Let's get started with some of the most recent headlines we've had. Sarah, want to kick us off?
I do, and I hope everybody's in a great mood because I have a little bit of sad news.
No.
We start our year with restaurant closures. This does happen every year, and I expect to see more of them in 2026, perhaps, than we had seen in the last couple of Januaries. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we will tell you about some places that we think you loved, and there are even some places where you can still visit before it's too late. We start with Sprinkles Cupcakes. This is a Beverly Hills established cupcake shop, one of the very first cupcake shops I'd ever heard of. It moved from Beverly Hills to Dallas and expanded all over the country. And on the last day of 2025, Sprinkles closed all of its dessert shops suddenly.
The people on social media were really, really sad and angry, Sarah.
Yes, it was one I didn't see coming in a world where I think we see other ones coming. When I got the news, I was out driving around and I went straight to the Sprinkles in Preston Center. I was like, well, I need to go there and see if they have cupcakes. And the shop, in the 5 or 7 minutes I was there, probably 30 different people walked in and out of the door. The shelves were empty, so no more cupcakes by 3:30 p.m. on the day the news broke. But they did have pupcakes, which are the cupcakes for dogs. And did you all know that Sprinkles sold cookies?
I don't think I did know that.
I didn't either. And they had chocolate chip cookies and red velvet cookies. And so, they were sort of handing those out to anybody who came through the door. But if you didn't have an order of cupcakes placed that day, they were long gone.
Well, I can tell you this about Preston Center, is that is not one of the buildings that's going to be knocked down for a new tower, but neither is this other one. We've had another closure in Preston Center too.
Yeah, late 2025 was a big time for this shopping center right at Preston and Northwest Highway. So right after Christmas, a sign went on the door at the Po' Boy shop, which is a sandwich shop that's been open since just July of last year. And the sign said, "We will not reopen after the holidays." And the Po' Boy shop was known for its muffaladas. It was a Louisiana-style sandwich shop that was a spinoff of Evans Meat Market, if anybody remembers it. This was a butcher shop in Highland Park that happened to sell po' boys. They found a business model with the po' boys, but not with the butcher shop. So they opened a standalone sandwich shop. It lived for less than 6 months. And they said because of economic pressures, it doesn't make sense to run this business either. So now Evans Meat Market closed since August. Its sibling restaurant, the Po' Boy shop, is also now closed. And I'm really sorry to share that one. This is a locally grown business, and Dallas is not particularly known for being a sandwich town. And I thought the Po' Boy shop had pretty good sandwiches.
I went every single weekend, so I don't know where I'm supposed to eat anymore.
Oh, Anna, where will you eat?
I guess I'm not going to.
Wait, hold on. Let's help Anna. Jimmy's Food Store, of course, for a sandwich. Where else, guys?
I mean, I'll always put up Good Friend package in East Dallas for a sandwich.
I will go to Shuck's Bagels every time.
Ooh,
yes.
Is a bagel a sandwich? Yes.
Yes.
I was going to say they do have a very thorough lunchtime and dinner menu and late night menu that I have never tried. And so maybe that's the next venture for me.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss, Anna.
I have another piece of bad news, guys. The last Friday of 2025, there was this awful news about a fire in Campesis on Lover's Lane. The restaurant had to close and they don't still have a time for the reopening. This restaurant opened its doors in 2007, and it is a very dear place to all the Park Cities area, you know? And many people were like really sad about this closing. Comments on the Dallas Morning News social media were sad, like these comments.
Ruth Vale said, "That's terrible. So many memories there."
Marcia Strong said, "Sorry, hurry and rebuild so I can come again."
And I love this very honest take from Kathy West that said, "We went there for lunch after my son's graduation from high school. Sad loss for Dallas. Their pizza was okay. Not the best, but it came with the legacy."
And Gail Gates said, "Major icon with memories to speak of and keep to yourself." Sad. So guys, do you have any memories of that place?
We go to Campese's every single time my mom is in town. She lives in Austin still, but she went to SMU. And I didn't know it was called Campese's until I'd moved to Dallas about 10 years ago because she solely refers to it as the Egyptian Room.
So your mom goes to the original, which is on Mockingbird Lane. I love that you mentioned that because when I saw news of this story being posted from the Dallas Morning News, I immediately was like, no, not the one that dates back to 1950. You know, the one that Anna is referring to called the Egyptian. This is the one on Lovers.
Which we've gone to too. And my hairdresser is actually in this strip center. And I just put together why my hair appointment got moved.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe that's why.
To a different location. It was probably this.
It's a little smoky in there. All right, here's the last of the bad news. New York Subs in University Park across the street from SMU announced that after being open since the 70s, it is expected to close at the end of February. I have talked to the new landlord and I have talked to the owner of New York Sub, and they say they're trying to work something out here, but basically, as New York Sub exists right now, it's not financially viable in that location. There's a chance somebody buys the business and keeps it open in that spot. There's a chance that New York Sub moves to a new location, or I guess there's the chance that it stays as is and they work out a new deal. But basically, the owner said he can't afford to be there anymore. So there's two takeaways from this, in my opinion. First, if you like a sandwich, Anna, that's you. If you like a sandwich, go to New York Sub this month and next month because you might be running out of time. But number two, keep an eye on this restaurant because there is a chance it's not gone forever. We just don't know yet.
And I just know Vandalay is waiting in the wings, just watching that site. They're going to take over Hillcrest.
I mean, yes, Vandalay, the parent company of Hudson House and many others, has, I think, at least a half dozen restaurants in Snyder Plaza and on Hillcrest. You wonder if they want another.
Okay, Claire, can you break up this bad news parade?
I can. So I have some news that is not a closure. We learned that Chef RJ Yoakum, who most listeners probably know for his work at Georgie when he was executive chef there. He has been working as a pop-up chef for the past 6 months, and he has recently accepted a position at Sushi Cozy in the Arts District of Dallas as their chef de cuisine. This is notable for a few reasons. One, RJ is one of the most kind of recognized chefs in the city right now, despite being rather young and despite being rather new to Dallas comparatively. He came from California, where he worked at the French Laundry in Napa Valley, which is a very famous Michelin-starred restaurant. And he is a French-trained chef. And so it's interesting that we are seeing him go to Sushi Cozy, which is from Paul Coe, who was at Uchi, Dallas. But the thing that's interesting here is that RJ is overseeing a portion of the menu that's not really related to the sushi aspect here. He's over the things that are coming out of the kitchen that are kind of everything but sushi.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so this restaurant is an omakase style restaurant. It serves 17 courses for $185 per person, and a good chunk of those 17 courses are cooked dishes. And so what we're going to start seeing is more of RJ's kind of twist on those dishes, and certainly some of his French training at play.
What's fun for a tasting menu like Sushi Cozy is that each course is so small. So from a chef's point of view, you could make kind of a bunch of one bite dishes. And that to me sounds fun, very creative, lots of opportunity to change the menu and to try a dish and see if diners like it. If I were a chef, that's a job I would want.
That's exactly what RJ said. He said that this is a job that gives him a lot of flexibility and creativity within set boundaries, which I think is for a lot of chefs is actually more helpful than kind of being able to do whatever you want with no limits. It can be sometimes a little difficult actually. And so it sounded like he was eager to jump at the opportunity to lead a team again and to kind of flex some different muscles. So for anyone who's a fan of omakase style dining and who is curious about what it looks like to have a classically French trained chef at a omakase sushi restaurant, I would keep your eye on Sushi Cozy.
It sounds to me that we are going to see more like fusiony omakase thing, something like that.
I think even broadly outside of Sushi Cozy, I think we're going to start seeing more of that. What Sushi Cozy has been doing is kind of within that realm already. I mean, you see French techniques in the dishes there. So seeing RJ go there is not entirely surprising. But I think we have kind of hit the point where Dallas diners are familiar enough with omakase and with Japanese cuisine specifically that I think we're going to start seeing restaurants get a little bit more creative with that.
Speaking of things we might see more of, Claire, you put together a story where you talked to chefs and other restaurant people about what's in and what's out for 2026. What were some of the key takeaways for you?
This was a really fun one to work on. So I reached out to people to see not what they expect to see this year in Dallas's dining scene, but what they want to see more of and less of. And the answers were really interesting. Caviar came up twice, both in the lists of outs. Not necessarily that caviar is out, but two different people told me that they're ready to see a little bit of a different treatment of it. Jenny Kelly, who is the chef and owner of Fond in downtown Dallas, she said what she hopes to see less of here in Dallas is using expensive ingredients for expensive sake. She said, we all love our caviar, but we see people using caviar and foie and truffles on everything. And it's easy to hide behind that, is what she said.
I would love to agree with Jenny and just say, I don't love caviar. I think it's skippable, and I'm glad to see it go.
I have a good friend who will always skip uni or even ask for a replacement for uni at restaurants if we're at Shoyo or something like that, or just hand me her course, which I think is really funny. That being said, I do love caviar, but I love caviar on its own. I feel like it just gets lost on everything.
Agreed. And it's a big upcharge on dishes. And I think in this economy right now, I think restaurants will probably have to start making some hard decisions. And I think that will be an easy one to lop off or just make it a la carte. Some other things that people said, Tanner Agar, who's over several restaurants here in Dallas, said he wants more Michelin stars for Dallas. Mm-hmm. In the same vein, Chef Reina Duong of Shimlan, she said that she would really love to see Michelin expand their visit and research outside of just Dallas proper and kind of extend more into Garland, Richardson, South Dallas, Oak Cliff, and go beyond the easy layups of the restaurants that are already very known and very visible on social media. So there was a handful of fun stuff in here, and it was really cool to see what chefs, from chefs' perspective, and those who are spend a lot of time in and around the restaurant industry are hopeful for, and would also just love to do without.
All right, I want to hear y'all's though. Sarah, what about you?
My prediction is that 2026 will be the year of the deal, the discount, the coupon. And I've been thinking about restaurants in the same way that I've been thinking about television in the last couple of weeks. You know, we all eat, many of us in restaurants, in the same way that many of us watch TV. And used to be that TV was on at a certain time. I was reminiscing about Saturday morning cartoons with a friend and how when you're a kid, when I was a kid, one of the few times we were allowed to watch TV without a lot of oversight was Saturday morning, because there were a couple of hours of cartoons and our parents would go do something else or sleep in, and we would just get to sit and watch television. And it was something we look forward to. What if that model extended to restaurants in a better way? What if we looked toward Sunday supper because there was a deal that we felt we could afford at a restaurant that otherwise felt like a reach? What if, Taco Tuesdays became an even bigger thing? And so, you solely eat tacos on Tuesdays. I think that in 2026, as all of us are going to talk more about saving money, and that is unquestionably a theme of this year. And as we're tentatively looking, at what the economy will bring us, I want to see deals and discounts done in a smart way so that people treat visiting restaurants like appointment television.
I am with Chef Duong. My dream for this year is that Michelin starts to look at other places and to reach another kind of cuisine. We need more Mexican and Tex-Mex restaurants recognized by Michelin because that's our identity as Texans, you know? And another thing I think is going to happen is we are going to see more AI in restaurants. Not only for administration things, inventory, things like that. Maybe chefs are going to rely now on artificial intelligence to create, I don't know, crazy things in their menus. And that will be really interesting, I think.
I was emailing with Chef Dean Fearing about what he's excited for in 2026, and he said he'd love to see more chef-driven restaurants, which he defines as places where you actually know the chef, feel their presence, and taste their personality on the plate. Anybody familiar with Michelin stars, should stop and pause for a second, because a Michelin-starred restaurant, one of the 5 criteria is that you can see the chef's personality on the plate. I'll read Dean Fearing's email because I think our listeners might find it interesting. He said, quote, Dallas used to have that electric thrill of going out specifically to experience a chef's creativity and signature style. Somewhere along the way, we've become captivated by big, beautiful restaurants where ambiance takes center stage and the food becomes secondary. What's missing is the unmistakable touch of a skilled chef leading the kitchen, cooking with intention, and putting their heart on every plate. It's time for Dallas to rediscover that magic. What do y'all think?
Very much agree. I think we have experienced kind of an identity crisis here for that very reason. And one of the things I would say I'm hoping to see less of in 2026 is less copy and paste in restaurants. I think we've probably all gone to restaurants this year where just about everything feels like it's already been done. Sometimes it's hard to imagine how these places are making money when they're doing the same things that everybody else is doing. But yeah, more personality.
And I think we have a lot of creative people here. I mean, we have the material to do that.
Absolutely.
We want to hear from you. So what do you think is in and what do you think is out? Email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're talking about the most exciting restaurant openings of the year.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you, whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable. No place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
Welcome back. In just a minute, we're getting into 2026's most exciting new restaurants. But first, a quick reminder that giving our podcast a good review helps other people find it. So if you like it, please say so. And if you don't, you can skip that part. So this feels like a really, really good way to start 2026. New restaurants expected to open this year. Sarah, what should foodies be on the lookout for?
Well, I think there are 20 restaurants that are expected to open in 2026 that all of us should be excited about. I'm thrilled to tell you guys that of my list of 20, many are affordable. These are not all, out of town, big money, big build out restaurants. They are literally all over the map. They are of many cuisines. I'm really excited for this year. I think that we will see a slower year for restaurant openings in general, but my list of 20 restaurants, which you can find on dallasnews.com/food, will give you a lot of reason for hope in 2026. A lot of creativity, a lot of cool stuff for all of us to eat. And, I don't know about everybody listening, but as we go through the year, one of the things I do is delight in eating at new restaurants. As the year unfolds, it's sort of like I think about the calendar in terms of what is new and what we can try. And so I hope our listeners will take that tactic as well. I'll give 3 restaurants I'm excited about, and then I want to hear some of y'all's as well. One of the things we do all the time is talk about new restaurants. And so one of my favorite coming soon restaurants is actually old and is getting reborn. So Ranchman's, the steakhouse way up in Ponder that closed after more than 75 years recently, it has a new owner and it will reopen. Ranchman's was for decades an out-of-the-way chicken fried steak place that rich and famous people loved. It was basically a real-life version of a small-town Texas steakhouse from the movies. And in fact, it was of the movies. Like Cindy Crawford ate here and Bobby Flay and Meatloaf filmed a music video there. There's so many oddities about Ranchman's, and I loved that about it. And as we all know, I also love to dig into the history of an old restaurant, of which Ranchman's was. So Marty Bryan, the man who owns a big and beloved restaurant called Marty B's in Bartonville, he is the new Ranchman's owners. He also plans to open a saloon and a live music venue in this little downtown Ponder area. And he thinks he can kind of recreate it or invigorate it as this kind of cool, out of the way cowboy town like it used to be.
That sounds perfect with the Taylor Sheridan traffic.
100%. That's such a great point. Taylor Sheridan, he bought Cattleman's in Fort Worth. And, I don't know who's watching Landman, but when they showed that private club inside Cattleman's on the television show, I cannot count the number of people I have chatted with who are like, have you been there? I saw it on TV. So this is like totally a whole thing, and we know people love restaurants on TV, but like Taylor Sheridan kicked up the dirt on that being exciting again. So Ranchman's is one of the restaurants I'm excited about. Just two others, and then I want to ask you about yours. I will focus on celebrities for these two others because that's fun. First, Tiffany Derry, who is a judge on MasterChef. She is opening a sports bar called The Landing in Grand Prairie. And she is known for investing in communities that will support her restaurants and also those communities that she thinks need more food. The Landing is going in the Epic, which is a big development that the city of Grand Prairie created a couple of years ago. And for anybody who has been out there was a barbecue place called Loop 9. The Landing will replace it. The second little bit of celebrity news is that former Dallas Cowboys coach Jason Garrett is opening an Italian restaurant just off Knox Street in Dallas near the Katy Trail. This is going to be specifically a Sicilian restaurant, and he's doing it in partnership with Julian Barsotti, who owns Nona and several other Italian restaurants. That will be called Cafe Luca, and it should open this month or next month. So what about y'all? What are you looking forward to as 2026 unfolds?
I'm really excited about Molino Oloyo. This pop-up business that serves beautiful Mexican food, as you put in your story. Mm-hmm. And now they are going to open a place in Gaston Avenue. This is a dream for Chef Olivia Lopez and her partner, Jonathan Percival. The idea is to have a taste room there, but also they have a plan of making like a fonda. A fonda in Mexico is a restaurant that serves casual food all the time, like affordable food. So they have this plan to make this taco place and tostadas, all the food that they serve at the pop-ups, but also have the taste room. So you will have like two options there. If you want to go fancy, you can go there. And if you want to go casual, it's going to be great. I'm really happy about this place.
The tasting room, Imelda, will also be an upscale Mexican restaurant. And I don't want to get ahead of my skis here, but if Michelin is looking around town, for great chefs making particularly Mexican food, which you've taken issue with, Imelda, maybe they should stop here.
They do. And also, I know that part of the dream is to have there a mezcaleria, and serve cocktails and snacks. They want to make a whole thing with Mexican food in there. Mm-hmm.
I am looking west for my most exciting restaurant opening. I'm just excited about all of the places that you listed in Fort Worth, Sarah. In particular, Felina sounded very interesting to me. It's Roman-style pizza. It's going to be moving from a food truck into a brick-and-mortar location, and I like pizza. I read the Wall Street Journal this week, like many people do, and in it said, Americans just aren't reaching for pizza anymore, and I don't believe them. And I will now, instead of eating sandwiches, eat pizza instead to make up for this.
Great.
I feel like I have been waiting eagerly for the opening of Seeger's Deli in the Cedars District for, I think I can say years, plural, now at this point.
Yeah.
This is a deli from Olivia Genthy, who's behind Fountain Board and Table in Uptown and Little Blue Bistro in Oak Cliff. I'm really excited about this place because I think that Olivia does simple really well. I think not everyone can do it as well as she does, and she does a great job of it. And also the sandwiches that she has put forward on her menu at Fount, I love. Mm-hmm. They have this vegetarian sandwich there that is one of my favorites. It has ribbons of pickled carrots on it, and it is divine. Seeger's is we're probably not going to see many vegetarian options there because this is going to be a full-blown deli. What Olivia told me a while ago about this place was that her intention was to have a spot that felt like you could be in Chicago, that felt like it would rival the deli scene in other parts of the U.S. and kind of help usher Dallas into the deli space in a way that I don't think we often see here. So I'm super excited about Seeger's. It apparently is opening pretty soon. So you can probably expect to see me there as soon as it opens.
And maybe Anna for a sandwich, I'm sure.
If you're into deals, it could be the year of the sandwich.
I know, right?
And that's all the time we have for today. You can read about all of these exciting restaurant openings by visiting dallasnews.com/food. And we would love to hear from you. Please email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Special thanks to our producer, Julie Fisk. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.